Hey guys, so in this part of the tutorial we'll actually be looking at GitHub. So we've done JS, we've done a lot of stuff, we've actually done some projects on Firebase, and before I go any further I want to emphasize on the importance of GitHub. So this will be very swift and very fast, and I'm gonna show you how and what GitHub really is and how you can really use GitHub to help you create sites and to control the version of whatever application you're creating. In this case we're creating a web app, so we'll actually be creating a repository in my GitHub account and actually just doing that, and maybe a readme kind of thing. So why is GitHub important? So when you're working with a large team and you're working on a large project, GitHub really plays a big role when you're trying to collaborate between guys who are in different geographical locations. And there's this thing called Git collaboration. I've worked with it once, twice, and right now I'm really just starting to get a hang of it, and I'm hoping that I'm going to make you learn something out of this video. So this video will be very brief. It's going to be about a repository, what a repository is, and the command line operations. So we actually in one of my directories, so let me just change directory to whatever directory we wanted to go to. So this is a directory where we have the index.html and everything is here. So I just want us to have a quick brush through of what we need to be there. So actually I don't want us to upload a lot of stuff on GitHub, so I'm actually going to go to my public directory. That's where I actually had to deploy my site on Firebase, and I'm going to show you how you can deploy a site on Firebase later on. But in this video is all about GitHub. So pretty much this is what is in my public directory, and we won't pay much detail on the content because all we want to do is have a successful upload on GitHub and try and see if we can have that. So the first thing I will do, because there are many ways to do it, and I'm actually doing it in a Linux computer. So I'm actually using the Elementary OS, maybe a distro of Linux. Looks something like Ubuntu, but to me it's kind of dope. Its UI and everything, it's kind of dope. So besides that, so we're gonna start a project. Go to https github.com and start a project. So yeah, it takes us to this site and it asks us to enter the repository name, and the owner is obviously me. So I'm going to call this status. And you can actually give out a description and say that my description here I want is to be the status app, and you can actually do most of the times you'll use the public package because you want your code to be visible to anyone. And you can initialize the readme actually, and so you create the repository. So the readme pretty much will be just about the how you will need to interact with the computer, with the repository, and basically how you will use whatever is the repository to your benefit. So here you found the place for issues, actually any issues that will occur. So label issues and pull requests for new contributors. So there's pull requests, projects, wiki, insights, settings. So we pretty much talk about the code section, and you can actually add topics. There's a number of commits you can have, there's a number of branches. This one branch, the master branch right now, and 0 releases of this app, and we obviously have one contributor. So the first thing we'll do now is actually to copy this link. So in Git Bash for Windows users, it will pretty much be the same commands. So so the first step will be to git initialize. So you will actually need to download and install Git in your machine so that it will actually work. And maybe after this tutorial I'm gonna show you how to install Git, how I actually did my configurations for Git. Pretty much easy. So git init, and I've actually initialized empty Git repository and home public Git. So when I actually do this, I can actually see that I have a folder called git.git, and that means that actually Git is initialized. So the next step will be now to have my URL to my repository connected to my local repository. So git remote add origin, and you have the URL. So then you add you connect your local repository to your remote repository. So in this way you'll be able to ship code back and forth from your remote repository and your local repository. So the next thing here, since we have a readme file, we'll actually need to actually take it from a remote repository. So the next thing we'll do here is to git pull origin and then master. Let's try and see. So it's actually pulled origin master, and now you can see we have the readme.md signing for markdown. So we actually write a code in markdown. So it's just a language for writing readmes. I actually don't know any other use for markdown. We actually interacted with it in that aspect. So it's actually a language, I guess a language by GitHub. So you can now open the readme file and actually edit it a little bit so that you can see. So here's telling that this is the status app. So the next step will be now to say that description, maybe add this description. There are many tutorials on Markdown. You can just go to YouTube and find books on Markdown, how to write readmes. So you can see here GitHub Markdown. So this is the status app written in JavaScript. And you can actually add just the technologies used. Let me have just that, and say JavaScript. You can have JavaScript there, and you can actually have Firebase for the database section. So you can even do this. You can actually add them in like a point form. And here you have Firebase, and then you can actually have by, and then my name Collins Makondu Mavinja. So that's my name, and save a file. So whenever you make a change to your file in Atom, I love Atom because of this. It actually glows, it actually gives you this blue light here, and then you can actually, when you Control S or save or return to the initial state, then it disappears. So whenever you add something, it's pretty much gonna glow blue in that part of the tab. So actually the next step here will be now to actually see exactly what we need to do, and in order to push our stuff to GitHub or remote repository. So the first step will be to check the Git status. So it's going to tell you that you've added actually these files to your Git repository. Has this number of files unstaged and uncommitted, and you have actually modified the readme.md. And that's a pretty good way of actually I think of it as a pretty good way of actually telling you, actually enabling you to actually commit the right things at the right time. So so right now we want to do what we call staging. So actually stage your files to be transmitted from a local repository to your remote repository. So when you say Git Add, you provide Git Add and actually the name of whatever file you wanted to be committed first. So in this case, I want everything to go to my remote repository, so I have this dot. So Git Add has that, so you can actually go back to Git status, and it's going to tell you you have a new file, modified, and it's actually telling you now you need to commit these changes now to your local repository before you push them now to your the remote repository. So how you do this is say git commit -m, and actually have the message for the commit. So this one is going to say I'm going to say all files added, or add all files. It should be in present state, add all files in present state, add all files. So it pretty much create mode. So it's created 6 file changes, 27 insertions, to 127 insertions and stuff like that. It's gonna tell you everything, even the branch that is actually done that. So then you can actually check the branch that you're in. We should have done that before we actually commit, but then I know we actually have the master branch only. I have no other branch, and as you can see in my remote repository, I also have a master branch. So just to be safe, check the branch that I'm in. So as you can see, I'm in the master branch. So the next step here, since we've staged and also committed our files, the next step now is to push to our remote repository. So we're just going to say git push origin. Remember the git remote origin, so the origin comes here. The origin pretty much refers to the URL you're pushing to, and now the branch git push origin master. So it's gonna give you this. It's gonna wait for you to put input for your username in GitHub. So as you can see, it's max8984, so I'm just going to write it here, max8984, and then I have my password. Just write it there, and it's telling me now that it's actually completed putting stuff on master. And when we reload, you can actually see that I actually have my files here, and it's telling me that I have 2 commits so far, and you can see the commit message I made and bye. So actually this came bad. I should have added a space here. Yeah, so that's there. We're just going to repeat the steps: git add all and git commit, and awesome. So this is going actually to change to actually commit whatever files that I've edited. In this case it's only the readme file. So add spaces, yeah, and then now you're gonna just push to origin master and first have my username. Let me bring it forth. I don't know why it's loading. Seems like there's an error in network, so let me just terminate that. Let me start a new session. Okay, so it's actually refusing to push stuff. So actually it's accepted, and I don't know why it refused in the first place. So max h984, now my password. Yeah, and let's try and reload that. Yeah, you can see it's changed now. It's okay. So pretty much that's it about basic GitHub pushing and pulling. And for more GitHub tutorials, just shout out or something like that. I'm gonna make more GitHub tutorials, maybe even do Git collaboration and try and see whatever thing we can actually do with GitHub. So until next time, happy coding, and can't wait to see what you'll do with GitHub. And you can actually follow me on GitHub at mags8984. So yeah.